Now we are. Now we are.
Hello, everyone. I hope you are having a good night. I know I am. I'm here with some of my friends and patrons, because they're both, to talk. Well, basically, wait for the UK results to come in. But other things are happening in the EU elections. Mariana is very bravely resisting the effects of drowsiness medication in order to talk about her experiences voting today in Germany and also some of the results. Before we do, though, this was posted by Mike Suchberry 30 minutes ago. He was doing a bit of a correction from an earlier point based on I don't know what. But he said, I guess I was wrong about the German Greens taking most of their support from the SPD. Roundabout split evenly between SPD and the CDU/CSU. And then he's linked to this tweet from, who is this from? Marcel Jesus. I'm going to say his name is. And then he's got, I don't know, a map of numbers and letters. Do you understand this, Mariana?
Oh, yes.
Can you interpret this chart for everybody like who's American?
Basically. Okay, so the different colors are different parties or people not voting, and that's showing voter streams who were what they were previously voting and what they voted this time. They do this by exit polls. And I have to log that on for me so I can see it. So the Greens got about even numbers from SPD and Union. Union is both CDU and CSU. The left and the FDP lost about equal numbers to the Greens. And the AfD surprisingly lost a bit to the Greens as well. And the gray bar is people who didn't vote previously. And the Greens themselves only lost to other smaller groups and not one of the major parties.
Wow, that's kind of amazing, isn't it?
Yes.
That was my impression.
Today when I voted, there were 41 different parties.
Oh my gosh. 41 different parties to choose from.
Yes, and the voting slip was very, very long. So I had the register aria from Don Giovanni stuck in my head for most of the day because, well, the way it folded was similar to the thing Leporello would pull out when describing how many women Don Giovanni had in each country. So yeah, fun associations. And the voting place I went to is they're assigned via voting Bezirk. Well, there's geographical areas, and it's in a school 1 street over, so I can walk there. Almost all polling places are schools in Germany because they're public buildings owned by the state or the city or something, and they're easy to reach, mostly accessible, and all over the place. So they're really convenient for voting for most people.
Okay, I would say, all right, that was, and yeah, I thought you were going to continue on because the results have come in, haven't they?
I'm just rambling.
Oh, okay.
We're used to that on this kind of like hangouts. It's with all of us involved. We all just like ramble.
Yeah, please ramble because the results probably are going to come in for at least. I did see some person sent me a tweet that some of the constituencies start returning things like within an hour after 10 o'clock UK time. So we can we can have a look. I do have. Oh, I can close that window. That's unnecessary. This, which is, we'll check in on from time to time. But right now, we see that they're awaiting the results. I don't know if that means I can actually. This is a different one. Yeah, they're just closing. So we'll check back on that.
For the results.
Yeah. But the overall German results, Mariana, did you have a sense of those?
Yes. Yes, I have to. Yes, I have a sense.
Okay. Do you want to kind of review? Oh, are you looking them up?
Up and
Your mic is cutting in and out. I don't know if you're leaning away from your mic or just it's the connection.
now I had a thing with tech. So I have the thing up, and then I will share my screen.
I'm eating popcorn, by the way, everyone, and I'm not going to apologize for it. I love it.
So
Now, Chrissy, it's late at night for you. Do you have wine with you? Just curious.
I might have a celebratory glass. You know, I do. It is a school night, technically. Well, you know, I have to work tomorrow, so I have to drink a lot of water to go with it.
Yeah, so you're not going to let loose on this hangout, so that's fine.
No. Well, I mean, actually, Carl's already forecasted how he's going to do in the election. We can.
Abysmal. So can you see my screen?
Yes,
yeah, we can. I will lock onto it.
Yeah. So this is the latest projection from almost quarter of an hour ago. So the CDU lost a lot. CSU,
That's Merkel's party.
Yes, that's Merkel's party. This is Seehofer's party. They're increased a bit. They're only votable in Bavaria. This is the worst result for the SPD in any election ever.
Really, and that's because a lot of people got pulled actually to the left, sort of. How would you read a move between the Well, we talked about the Greens' support came from everywhere, but it didn't go to them. Is the important thing.
I think they have a this is the map of the polling districts. So you can see the city of Munich is green, the city of Erlangen is green, and this is Würzburg. But most of Bavaria will be solidly black.
What did the Cologne area come in as?
Cologne should.
I don't know if it's in yet or not.
It's not yet in.
Okay. I have no idea what they're going to do, so I'm interested to know.
Yeah.
Hey, Chrissy, did you vote in the German elections?
No, I'm not an EU citizen.
That's right.
Yeah, but I'm a legal resident of Germany. And I need to get my paperwork done to become a permanent legal resident. But it's kind of been busy this year, so.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, so getting back to who did and who didn't.
So there's there's this block andere, so other parties, which is a fairly large thing. And the free voters, they're mostly local stuff people. I don't like them all that much because they often define themselves mostly via resistance to projects. So they're one of the biggest stumbling stones for future wind parks and the like. The Pirate Party is, well, their digital stuff.
Are they still getting seats or just getting votes at this point?
With 0.7%, I think they're just getting votes and no seats. The Animal Rights Party, the NPD lost a lot. That's good. NPD is the overt right-wing party. Familie, I have no clue. I think they're new. ÖDP is like the Greens, but for conservatives.
Mm-hmm.
And the
That's
Partei,
interesting.
yes,
Conservative Greens, yeah. It's just like what? I guess it's conserving the environment is in itself a conservative position, but he's like, okay, anyway.
And the Partei is, I honestly have no clue.
Wait,
Fair
real quick,
enough.
is this breaking down like regions, or what is that breaking down?
This one?
Like all these different things here is like White Parteien, all that kind of stuff.
Weitere Parteien is additional parties. So this one is the
Yeah,
big
weiter
party.
means further, so weiter
Further.
means more further
and
party.
this thingy is this gray block broken up into the most notable from there.
Oh, okay. So there's a pirate party.
Yes. And I'm honestly curious how Volt will be doing across Europe, because they are one of the few groups who are in every state or every country.
By the way, Benjamin Acer in the chat says Die Partei is a satirical party. Apparently
Makes
they're
sense.
Oh,
left-leaning, but basically it's a joke.
okay.
I mean,
Well.
there's already like candidates in like the UK elections. There's Lord Buckethead. Even in America, there is a libertarian candidate known as Vernon Supreme, and he's a comedian as well. That's like it has a boot on his head, but it's like a libertarian. So
Wasn't there a guy named D's Nuts who was running for president or something?
Possibly, it wouldn't surprise me. And in Washington State, this guy has been like running for in the primaries for like since 2000. Good space guy.
So
yeah, continue on. Go ahead.
I found the voter migrations.
Ah, cool. Yeah, let's see the pattern.
So who did the SPD lose most of their voters to? People simply didn't show up. That's it, for the most part. Then half as much went to the Greens. They got a bit from the left and from the FDP and the Union. But they also lost a bit to the AfD, which I think is a bit strange. And
man, when like 2 million of your own was that 2 million of their own voters didn't show up?
Yes.
Whoa, that's just saying something. They didn't even like. Wow. Yeah, they didn't motivate them at all.
It's about the same for the Union. Though for them it's 2.5 million who didn't show up.
I guess 2014 was more exciting.
Yeah. The left lost about 1 million to who didn't show up, and yeah, I'm not surprised about the results for the FDP, who also lost a ton of people to not showing up.
What's the Andera mean?
Others.
Others, okay.
Those small parties. Generally.
Andera.
Mm-hmm.
Generally, all parties lost a lot to people simply not showing up.
Mm-hmm.
After almost 2 million, but they gained. So what do they have? This is a breakdown via states. So
By the way, we have some preliminary results from the UK.
do you have?
Yep, I just refreshed the page.
Then I'll stop sharing.
Okay, and I'll share on mine. But these are it's only after 5 of 300 counts. So these are very preliminary. But so far, what we can see here is the Brexit Party, which why are you doing this? No, I want to present to everyone. Thank you. Okay, sorry. Google is just giving me more options than I needed in my life at that moment. So we have the Brexit Party, and after 5 counts, 33%, 33.6%. Then the Liberal Democrats early on, but showing some strength. Behind them is the Labour Party, and then the Greens, the Liberal Democrats at 20.4, Labour at 16.0, Greens at 12.9, Conservatives at 7.5, UKIP at 4.4, Change UK at 8.8, and then some other random parties,
2.8.
including the national parties that will only come in when their regions come in. So, yep, that's what we've got so far. I'm not sure. I'll try to find out where these 5 counts are, but the overall numbers we've got so far, then they have obviously not allocated any MEPs yet. So back to you, Mariana.
Yep.
If you want to share again.
Yeah, I
continue
share
on.
again. So this is a breakdown what it's like in the different states. So in Baden-Württemberg, that's the one in the southwest. There's the CDU is quite far ahead, as is expected there. Greens are good as well, which is
Yeah, that's pretty robust for the Greens, I'd imagine, in that area.
no, their
They're strong there?
current Ministerpräsident of Baden-Württemberg is from the Greens, and the CDU is the junior partner of the coalition.
What?
Yeah, it's been a few years already.
That's
this constellation. So
Conservatives and the Greens.
Yep.
Germans are practical.
And well, this is a pretty typical turnout for the CSU in Bavaria, but they have seen better days. But well, Greens are very good. The Freie Wähler did get started in Bavaria, so they usually get quite a good outing. I'm glad to see that the AfD didn't do that well. And well, SPD in Bavaria has always had a very hard time. North Rhine-Westphalia, which is where you are, Christy.
Woot woot. After this,
T-
we'll check in with the Brexit update. So, but yeah, explain this one, and then we'll go back to Brexit or the UK, not the Brexit.
yeah.
Sorry.
CDU, SPD, and Greens are, well, they're not finished counting yet, so I'll call them even, and them as well. So it's a typical thing. And fights. Yeah, that's also looking like they always do.
Okay, so do you mind if we go back to the UK? Because we've got 14 counts now completed.
Yep.
I've already switched to me, so just the leaders on, and I'm gonna resize my screen so I can read a little bit easier. And what we've got here, as you can see, is that we've got some fluctuation, which is quite common when you get these early returns because they're coming in from very random places. This is like sampling, like the national vote is the final result, but we get little samples and we see sort of the distribution of the samples. So it's kind of a learning moment, really. But the Brexit Party is still leading, although it's dropped to 27.9%. Liberal Democrats still in second at 20.8. They might have collected quite a lot of the Remain vote. Labour then coming third on 18.1, the Greens in fourth on 11.4, and the Conservatives in fifth place with an 8.3% of the vote share. SNP now has finally landed. We've got the Scottish National Party then coming in at 6.5%, and UKIP drops to 3.5%. They are down 20.8% on their 2014 performance. Then we have Change UK and a few of the other minor parties or national parties. So that's our update from Britain. Definitely the polls that said the Brexit Party were going to take it are showing to be correct so far. But we will keep an eye on this and also maybe try to get some local constituency results when they start coming through as well. So then, yeah, Mariana, are you ready to take over again? We're a good team.
I can't find the other
charts.
The other states.
Oh, well, they might not be in yet. So
yeah.
There was a question asked from the live chat earlier from 255 AD. What has changed UK? And others have answered that as like Change UK is a bunch of disgruntled Labour and Tory MPs, and this they view it as, some people in the live chat view it as a kind of like a centrist party, but they seem to be like pro Europe and pro EU and want the second referendum. So I don't know if that's
like
true.
If the Brexit Party was super unsuccessful and for Remain.
Yeah.
I think their unity was really around their opposition to the way things were going, but they never really caught on.
Yeah, that makes sense. No. And someone else was like, it was like Chris 100812334. No, that's Chris with an L actually. Anyway, Chris asked how Europe has like so many different parties, yet America has only two. And I answered the reason why for that is the first past the post. And it's kind of like, yeah, and hopefully there will be election reform in America. I think it's like the Democrats that are pushing for that. Well, the Republicans definitely do not want that, because then they won't be able to win elections as well. But yeah.
Yeah, so, the logic of, so when you have a first past the post system, and let's say you have, two parties on the left and one conservative party running, you're really better off for the two parties on the left to just unite and try to become a majority, rather, because they're always, if you'd be splitting your vote on your side of the political spectrum. So in a first past the post system, it almost always makes sense to vote for like ending up in a two-party system. The place that isn't like that is the UK. They have what they call like a 2.5 party system, where they have these, the Lib Dems that floated around for a while and made a coalition.
Right.
But then again, you also have national parties in the UK. So it's, I mean, it's kind of a unique situation. But generally, if you have 50% plus one, which is called first past the post or winner takes all, you end up with two parties winning, because they're just competing over the median voters, and they're scooping up everything, center right to right and center left to left.
Yeah.
So, all right, I'm going to refresh my page. Anything else? Oh, we've got another update if we want from, I guess I'm still screening, or I hadn't locked on. We've got now 21 of the counts completed, and UKIP bumping up again, not quite to 30, but they're at 29.8. Liberal Democrats still solidly in second place at 21.7, followed by Labour at 15.3, the Greens at 11.7, Conservatives 8.8, Scottish National Party still at 4.6, and UKIP holding at 3.5. So that's that. I told you guys don't expect too much, because so other people have to talk for a few minutes so I can refresh the page. And I will
Jared,
stop.
you were saying?
I said negative 22.2. That's quite impressive.
Yeah, they're down. They're down a lot. They are down a many lot. They are. This is true.
I guess in other news, because like I'm not French, but I live in France. The Rassemblement National is in the head just before the Republicans, or not the Republicans, La République en Marche. And then the Greens took third place, which was a surprise from the polls that I saw before. Where
do they normally place?
I think the early polls had them at like 7-8%, something like that.
Oh, right.
And the Republicans, the classical, center-right party, was at 14%, but now they're at 8% in the polls. So they switched places with the Greens. It's like the Greens took over the Republicans, and everybody else is mostly left-wing parties.
Okay.
La France Insoumise, that's the left-wing party, the Socialists. 6% for each of those, 6.6%. So it's mostly like the right wing, the far right, and then like a bunch of left wing parties. That's what the main breakdown is.
Someone in the chat said I said UKIP instead of Brexit Party. I'm sorry if I made a mistake.
UKIP can't get anywhere close to 29%.
UKIP are on UKIP are on 3.5%, down 22.2 according to the most recent count. Now, and actually, if we look at it, like the Scottish National Party so far has gotten more votes than UKIP, even though UKIP has the whole of Britain to run in. So just putting that into perspective. Actually, I'll refresh it while we're here. See what it says.
More results.
Lock it on. At 25%. Okay. Oh, Brexit must have come into with some strong Brexit results because they popped back up to 33%. Oh, that's the wrong screen to drag on. There we go. Liberal Democrats 20. Obviously they're not going to catch the Brexit Party, but I'm pretty impressed with how the Liberal Democrats have bounced back, considering they flamed out after the coalition. I guess in Europe they've got more credibility. Labour at 16.2, Greens at 10.7, Conservatives in single digits on 8.0. UKIP popping up a little bit to 4.3%. That's UKIP. Change UK on 3%. Scottish National Party on 2.9%. Oh, and we got a peek in now from Plaid Cymru. There are also some early Plaid Cymru returns. So there we go. So who was saying what about something then? You were saying something, Jared, about France. Was there more about that?
Oh, no, just giving the main results from the national polls.
Okay.
Mainly the Marine Le Pen's party, and then behind them, very slightly, is Emmanuel Macron.
Yeah, so I'm really sorry. Can you kind of translate some of those results for the non-French party people in the house?
So
people in the house.
Party people in the house.
Sure. So the lead party is the Rassemblement National, which is basically like the far right kind of nationalist, anti-European party. They're 23.3%, and then trailing them is 22.1% for La République En Marche, which is the centrist governing party that Emmanuel Macron belongs to. So they were always vying for
to say goodbye to Mariana. Sorry to interrupt you again, Jared.
Night.
Good night. Thank you so much for your analysis.
Hi.
Good night, Schlafschön. Poor thing. Okay, continue. Sorry.
Someone in the chat says En Marche equals Lib Dem. That's pretty much, I guess, the case. I'm not exactly sure if it's totally the same thing, but yeah. So they were kind of vying for first place the whole time, and the nationalists won out this time, I guess, because Emmanuel Macron was trying to make it like a globalist versus nationalist, or kind of like a pro-Europe versus anti-Europe kind of thing. And he failed to get first place, but behind him is the Greens at 13.1%, the Republicans at 8.4%, then other parties that are smaller like La France Insoumise, which is a far left party, the Socialists at the same as the La France Insoumise, and then vanishing returns for everybody else. So,
but in that, I mean, how many anti-EU parties are there? Because here you've basically got Brexit, and then UKIP, which nobody takes seriously anymore. But Remainers could, in theory, vote for Liberal Dems or the Labour Party or the Greens. There might even be some Remainers in the Conservative Party. So is it a similar distribution of pro versus anti in those polls, in those results as well? Or are they more clustered in different ways?
Well, it's kind of hard because like some of these parties are not like totally anti-Europe, but they're kind of like soft Eurosceptic, I guess is the term. Like I think some of these like La France Insoumise is like a far left party. They're kind of like they want to change the treaties. I'm not sure exactly what they want to do with those, but like they say that the EU is fundamentally a liberal project, and so they want to change it somehow. I'm not sure how they do that, but it just depends on like their individual policies, I guess. But mostly
But in terms of being like, let's have France leave the EU, they're not there.
I don't know. I think it would be called like soft Euroscepticism, where like they're kind of skeptical of certain parts of the European Union, but they're not like they don't want to pull out.
I giggle because HK wrote in the chat, "We're going to need a bigger milkshake."
All right, well, let's do another update here on the page and see what happens. Oh, now we've got 34% of the 373 of the counts in. Brexit party's on 32.4. Labor, move. Well, that just looks like wrong. They're still below the Lib Dems. It's just in the wrong order. But they're giving out MEPs. That's why.
Oh,
They're ranking
okay.
them now by seats. So the way that this works in Britain, and I wish I kind of had a different page for this because, all right, the election system is kind of complicated. And I need to go and top up my drink. So Jonathan, can you just cover for me for like a minute and a half, and then I'll explain how the very complicated system of seat allocation in an EU election and British system works.
Sure thing. I think there's actually Bill Cole who I mentioned in the live chat that he really hopes that the socialists give Hamon another chance, and I think he was a great candidate. He's resigned to Le Pen making a run and over the next 2 times. So it's I just want to bring in with that. And this one, and it is kind of interesting how for me as an American, when it's there are other parties, and actually Chris has a question for Christy about the American Green Party, while being a garbage irrelevant party, but you can take bets that American Greens take credit for any success that European Greens achieve, I guess. Well, that's the question that Chris asked. So it's interesting how there are so many these parties. There's multiple choices for people to have, but I think how that kind of party system works is that there needs to be a way to split your votes, instant runoff voting, where you can rank your votes in a way that yes, I do have a hair clip in. This is a friend made this hair clip. I mentioned this at the last Patreon hangout 3 weeks ago. And then I got distracted. With instant run-on voting, that was allowed for other parties to get votes and get seats, as it were. But I don't know if America should take what the UK is doing with their system, because I don't yet understand how the UK does things. But something like Washington State actually has been doing for the state representatives and legislations is that I don't, unlike in a national Congress, I don't have just one state Congress person. I have 2. So there is a way for I'm talking out my ass right now because I don't know what the one I'm talking about.
I'm back. You're okay. It's fine.
No
We're all
problem.
good. We're all good. So, yes,
More
thank you for
results?
that, Jonathan. Yes, some results, just checking again, and nothing seems to have changed, but I will lock on to myself for a second here. All right, so and this works, I'm pretty sure, on the constituency level, not the national level. So imagine the constituencies are like states,
Yeah.
and you've got so many states in the, whatever, because they're each kind of going to do their own thing. The way that it works is the party with the most votes gets awarded a seat. And
Right.
then their total vote is multiplied by 1 and then subtracting 1. There's some weird formula that basically says that you're subtracting 1 seat from that. So you're basically cutting them in half. So imagine that the Brexit party has 30% of the vote in a constituency, and the next largest party is 12%, and then 11%, and then 5%. When we award the Brexit party in that constituency their first seat, they basically get 15% left over plus whatever, and then they have the most seats before the party that got 12%. So then they would be given a second seat and cut in half again down to 6%. And then it would go to the party that had 12, and then they would drop down, and then 11, and then so on and so forth. So it's a really complicated, weird system of vote distributions. And this is why Carl being second on the list was important, because UKIP would have needed to get at least, in the 30% in Carl's constituency again. And if this is the national trend, there's absolutely no way that's going to happen, unless his place was a complete outlier, which I don't see happening. So we're still getting vote updates, but no more seat changes, except we do see here that the Brexit party has picked up 2 seats, and Labour has lost 1, and UKIP has lost 1. So they've picked up seats from both Labour and UKIP, which is interesting because they're not picking up seats, let's say, from a conservative yet, but the night is still young.
Yep.
So that's what that is.
And hey, Divinity, you didn't miss much. We were just like looking over early election results. Divinity, what you did miss is like Mariana shared results from Germany. So, election results of the EU elections in Germany. So, yeah.
Yes, what I can't figure out how to get to is the actual like constituency level information. That seems beyond me for some reason. So right now that's the European elections, and then what's this one? The UK European elections. Nope, that's the same thing. Okay. No, we're already
And
on
Tim
the
has
one
joined
thing.
us in the chat.
Hey, Tim, how you doing? Good. We need more content. I told you this was going to be boring, so don't get
Especially
your
when you get like
expectations up.
especially when you get like an American that's right now in France and like an American and a
Yes.
Canadian who like are not involved in like Europe whatsoever, and we're just like it's only you, Christy, and it's only you and Kevin covering the UKIP election with Carl Benjamin that we're kind of like, so wait, there's the EU and they have the separate elections. Well, okay, that makes sense, of course, and so okay, so then each of the parties, the same parties in all those respective countries, will have their own MPs for the European Parliament. Okay, no problem. If there's like a governing body of the EU as well as like the own countries like a governing body, it kind of makes sense. And it's just like, but yeah, we need more milkshakes.
That's a good ending.
Well, I just European politics is just a completely different animal from, and this is the weird thing too, is that people are sending politicians to go represent them in Europe, but they're really voting more on their own domestic issues than on pan-European issues. I mean, a lot of these are more about local politics and local politicians than an agenda, particularly in Europe. So it's kind of a weird beast, as it were, I think.
And that got me to think of like questions of like, well, how much governance control does the EU have over the European Union as opposed to like their own countries like managing themselves? It's like,
well, I think it's a lot to do with regulating trade-related stuff and standardizing things and protecting, champagne coming from Champagne so that other people inside the EU can't take away that brand and sort of do intellectual property theft. It's hard for me. I don't really understand what people are so upset about in the UK. I don't hear particular policies necessarily, and there are really good things about it, like the Human Rights Convention and other laws that actually protect freedom of speech in Britain. But hey, what do I know?
People like Nigel Farage want that all to go away, though, right?
Yep.
That's why they're the EU, because it's more of a far right opposition to hate speech laws and human rights. Just all.
Mostly free movement of people and the idea that they can't control.
That too.
Yeah, really, what it comes down to.
They have a border anyways. They weren't part of Schengen. They always had a.
Yeah, I know. They've always been like this, though. The Brits have always been like this.
Well, they have a middle ground between like fully not being part of the Schengen, but also being like somewhat kind of open borders more, or was it just totally not that case?
They were party to the like free movement of EU citizens, and I guess the EEC countries like the Norway and that as well could go there.
Have you, Jared, ever landed? Have you ever landed in the UK?
Yeah, when I was really young. But,
okay. Well, now the way they have it is the EU citizens have basically they get about 20 desks and they just fly through from my perspective as a non-EU citizen. Right? And then I get shafted in the non-EU citizen line with like international flights coming in from around the world, like Hong Kong and Canada and stuff. And we all have to queue forever to share 4 desks because we're non-EU. Again, this is my perspective coming from the airport. I'm a little bit bitter. But so they get kind of faster treatment.
But that would just be the case because you're not an EU citizen. I think it was the case for entering the Schengen area as well, right? Or am I wrong about that?
Well, I mean, once you're in Schengen, you can move around. So if you land in Germany, you can take a train to Amsterdam. They're not going to check you on the way.
Yeah, Schengen is basically like open borders across the Schengen area.
Yeah, I went from
like a hard.
Yeah, I went from Cologne to Paris. They didn't stop us.
I think like
it's kind of the thing of the EU. So you can agree to what you want to agree to and not agree to what you don't want to agree to, more or less.
If you're going to have free movement of goods, you got to have the free movement of people.
Mm-hmm.
That's their
Yeah.
that's their kind of
But
rule.
all these different countries have their own. They cut their own deals. Like Britain had their own deal, and like Norway.
Well, Britain
and
had a
Switzerland
special deal, and Schengen, I guess you could say, is a special deal in that it's open. It's basically there's no checks at the borders. It's not open borders. There are still checks when you come into Schengen. You're just allowed to move within it.
There's free movement of people but not the Schengen at the same time with Britain. So it's. I don't feel it's hard to get your head around that, but those are two different things, Schengen and the free movement of people. So because free movement of people only really applies to EU citizens, not anybody else.
That's right. Free movement of people only applies to EU citizens. Yeah. But Schengen can apply to anyone in the area.
The second world countries like Norway have agreed to it too. But in Iceland, I think too as well. But
is free movement of citizens referring to like work rights, like being able to work in certain countries? Or?
Yes. So a lot of people in the UK like to retire to Spain.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
It's like it's residency, it's work,
employment.
And those.
It's basically like moving from state to state as opposed to moving to the US to Canada.
Mm-hmm.
Which everybody threatens to do, but they never do.
Yeah. They realize how cold it is up there.
I live in like the Seattle area, so Vancouver, despite it would probably be very close to like how I'm used to in the weather-wise. But then again, it's the like housing prices, which is like there's that.
It is also harder to get in here than people think it is. Basically, as I mentioned before, my wife is an immigrant. She's in the process of getting a permanent residency. And she's from a country that is necessarily have a cerebral image as America would up here in terms of like just trusting, as far as like the people go, not necessarily with what's happening now in the last like 3 or 4 years. Yeah. Notwithstanding that, but like, there's just like a built up trust with each other. So I think Americans have an easier time getting in. Actually, I wanted to like look that up, see how many Americans have immigrated here since Donald Trump got into office, but I haven't got around to looking that up yet. But
I know that like the country that most people like actually like escape to from America is like a lot of Americans escape to New Zealand, than saying like Trump's America.
Wait, really? That's like way out of the way.
Yeah, it is, but like
it's really nice though.
Yeah, it's Middle Earth essentially. But also, as like Garrett mentioned in the Hangout he did with like Christiosity, Thought Slime, and Gwen Ophir, is that like they are really good on like trans issues. So like they allowed a trans woman that fled from the UK to stay in New Zealand, even though she did stay beyond her visa. The government of New Zealand decided to like let her stay because she said that she'd be afraid for her life as she went back to like the UK. And another thing is that like, Garrett also mentioned that like, well, for female to male surgeries, New Zealand's not that great for that because they don't have the trained surgeons that can like specifically do that. However, but the New Zealand government will allow you to like go to Australia to get that surgery done, and they will pay for it. So it's like, New Zealand's one of those like bastions of like countries that's like, oh my god, they're more reasonable than the rest of the world in some cases.
It's kind of annoying when you hear American politicians say, "Oh, only in America can you do that." I'm like, get out more.
Best in the world, man. Best country.
Yeah. By the way, just a quick update on the percentages, because we have now 81 of the 373 counts completed. Brexit Party is sticking around to the bottom 30s, which I think the polls had them anywhere between 31 and 35%, so that's about right. Labor's on 16% so far. Liberal Democrats at 19.5%. Greens at 11%. Coming in fifth is the Conservative Party at 8.1%, and UKIP at 3.9%. So not cracking 4. Plaid Cymru at 3.4, Change UK at 3.2, and the Scottish National Party as a total percentage has dropped down with other counts coming in, but that's not too surprising because they're only really competing in Scotland. As far as I know, that could be wrong, but as far as I know.
What is preliminary results put Labour ahead of Liberal Democrats, even though they lost a seat?
Yeah, Labour. Yeah, they lost a seat, but they must have lost a seat in an area where it was picked up by the Brexit Party quite clearly. So that you can see that it's the so far it's been UKIP and Labour that have lost seats to the Brexit Party so far.
Mm-hmm.
So, and you know, Labor is performing in a very lackluster way because they don't have a strong Remain policy, and
Yeah.
people are rewarding the parties that are, which are the Liberal Democrats and the Greens. They're combined getting what 30%, right?
Mhm.
Which is pretty close to what the Brexit Party is getting. So you can see how divided the country is.
Yep.
It's still 50-50 all this time. Anyway.
Well, 30-30. There's still and then the other 40%.
I mean, like, just from the but it's like you gotta remember the voter turnout in this is always a lot less than it is in the regular UK elections.
Yeah, I think it was about 38% turnout, and actually turnout was up in the Remain areas. So
yeah, I wonder, but even after all it's happened at 3 years, people still, you know, like less than 40% of the total electorate, right? When they could probably get at least over 60 in the generals and then the council ones, because they had the council ones a little while ago, right?
Yeah, it is a weird election. It came late, and also people weren't expecting it, and some people don't even want it, and some people don't care because what if they leave? It doesn't matter, and so
there's a general apathy towards it, like, anyways, and historically as well. Just to note that, but
yeah, I think so. All right, so we have to find something else to talk about now for a while. So entertain me, guys.
Okay. What if anything you think does this actually, as far as making Brexit happen or not, like I have this feeling that this doesn't really change anything, you know, the outcome of this. Really, it doesn't change the
I'd agree with that
equation, like the map of getting it done, because it all goes through Westminster still, and until there's another general election, you know, that won't change. You know, the people in the Tory party that are Remain are going to be Remain, and then, you know, leave, whatever, and then same thing with Labour, and there might not be a general for a while. I mean, there's going to be a new prime minister, as we know, because May finally got the hint and decided to get out of Dodge.
Oh my gosh, it's like, someone put, sorry to interrupt you, please hold your thought, but someone on Twitter was like, March, the EU, okay, we're going to give you till October, you're going to make good use of this time, right? The UK, yeah, definitely. June, leadership contest.
Like, oh God,
you know,
oh man,
it's just a mess.
I was like, I couldn't believe that she's like, oh, I'm gonna put my deal up for a fourth vote. I'm like, oh God, you know, but because she was trying to negotiate with Labour, but that didn't go anywhere, which I didn't think it would, because it just didn't want to move anywhere, you know.
Here's the thing, and this is, someone said this, and I wish I remembered who, because they were right, and I wish I could credit them. Maybe they weren't the first, but it seemed like Britain went to the EU expecting a better deal being out of the EU than in the EU.
Mm-hmm.
And there was no way they were ever going to get that.
Yeah.
And so when she tried to give them anything but that, they had a temper tantrum. But then they were like, no Brexit either. You're like, well, you don't want what I've gotten. You don't want to just leave. You know, what do you want? Like, well, we want something better. Like, you can't have something better. That to me seemed like, so anyway, I just wanted to make that point because it kind of mapped onto what you were saying. Continue.
Well, yeah, like that, and that kind of ties into what I was saying too. Like, basically, they had this arrogant attitude that everyone was going to stroll into Brussels and get this sweetheart deal even better than they had before, while not being in the, you know, better than like all the like Norway, Switzerland, you know, Iceland, all those like second order countries that are in the ECC but not in the rest of the proper union, right? They wanted, and then when they analyzed the deal as she made it, it would have put the Britain outside of even like what Canada is, because Canada has a trade deal with the EU since about 2 years ago. It would have been like worse than that. So, and she can't get the Eurosceptics don't want a complete break from the EU altogether, which our deal didn't do. The main people don't want that in the Tories, and then Labour is basically almost completely against hard Brexit, you know.
But they're not for Remain.
Yeah, that's the interesting position in itself. I can understand. I can understand something like.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
Well, sorry, what did you say about Corbyn?
He's just people have wondered for a long time whether he was both. And well, he's obviously leave now because he said he was, but there's a long time where he didn't say like what he was, and it's because he's the leader, and the way that parties work in the Westminster system that they have to kind of go along with, even though most of the party is Remain, and I'm pretty sure they are.
Yeah. I mean,
so he's kind of
Corbyn is old Labour, and they were unions against being in the EU. He goes back to the 1970s, so his opposition comes from Labour base, not from like the Tory base. But there is some anti-immigrant sentiment in there too. That's why some of the Labour vote went to UKIP in previous elections, because there is that sort of white working class racism, just like in the States and anywhere else, I'd imagine, in the Western world and Australia.
And yes, Adam Ryan Sutter, I am looking like Frank Zappa. I am a star. Yes.
What was that question about the American Green Party earlier?
Okay, so I'll scroll back to it. No, it's like no, it's not that. I'll find it.
Wow, was it a while ago? I didn't realize it was so long ago.
There we go. Okay, I found it.
That's an interesting topic. Yeah, so go ahead.
Yes, it's copy pasted in the chat, but I'll also read it out loud in our group chat. But yes, I know the American Green Party is garbage, irrelevant party, but you want to take bets on if the American Greens take credit for any success European Greens achieve? It's like, I personally I can certainly see them doing that, but I'm not like focusing on the Greens or follow that party to know if they do. But I wouldn't be surprised if I hear that, because if they want to like associate themselves with like a successful brand, a political brand, if I can see them taking hey, see the European Greens, look at what they're doing. When I am American, it's like, what are the European Greens doing? I don't know. Yeah, they got seats in like the European Parliament. Okay, but like how does that affect things here? That's my take.
I think the American Greens for I think two reasons. Maybe a third is maybe second one's two reasons. But firstly, they don't ever really, in between presidential elections, ever like try to like run like a local and build up. Because most parties, they start like very small elections and then they build up. But the Greens always just want to run for president, and then they don't do anything in years. That's what I've heard from. I mostly what I know from the American Greens is like the last election with Jill Stein, and that's what I've gathered from people that are more familiar with them. That's one reason why. Another reason is the Democrats are basically cutting them off because there's the Green New Deal. That new generation of Democrats is sort of stealing an area where they would get traction with the Green New Deal. Yeah, that's another reason. And secondly, just the Democrats kind of have already covered that area historically as well. So it's kind of two reasons, but one reason at the same time.
I actually think that the Democrats, if the Green Party wanted to challenge anywhere, I think that they should challenge from the left. I think that they would be much better off in the United States, in places like New York and parts of California and other places that are quite progressive, Madison, trying to hone in on the sort of Sanders progressive support and really create basically a dichotomy between a center left option and a left option. And kind of push out conservatives even more.
Yeah, I mean there have been some Green candidates that like run for like Washington State Senate, or no, for the Washington State seat for the Senate, and so, but yeah, they don't do that that often. But then again, also now in Washington State, that was actually before in Washington State we changed from like the normal primary system to now the top two primary system, where it doesn't matter, it's whoever gets the most votes in the primary, the top two candidates, they'll go on to the general. So that's how in my district I got a Democrat for the seat in Congress for the House of Representatives. So that's why the Green Party did in the past had candidates for National Assembly in Washington State, but with the Washington State's new system, that's how I was like, yeah, they don't got a chance.
Okay, so quick update just to say that we are now I'll refresh it while we're here.
Mhm.
115 of 373 counts completed, and Labour has picked up a seat, but no one else has lost a seat, so it must have been like a Labour hold, is what I'm inferring. And the Brexit Party is 31%. So if this continues, we're about a third of the way through. We're starting to like get less variation now, so the numbers are starting to stabilize. We're seeing less because again, early on when you got the first results and they were coming in from all over the country, and as more results in, they tend to even out. So we can see that Labour is on 14%, 14.8%. Liberal Democrats are on 19.3%. The Green Party is on 11.3%. Conservatives is still at 8.3%. They're hovering around 8%. UKIP at 3.6%. Scottish National Party at 3.5%. Change UK at 3.1%. And Plaid Cymru at 3%. So right now, UKIP has got 198,000 votes. Which is last time they came in first.
But then all those votes went to the Brexit Party. Yeah.
Yeah, and then some. I think some Tories and some other people, maybe from Labour, moved over as well. So, yeah, I think they got 37% overall, 38%. And also, HK in the chat says that currently UK turnout is at 36%. I think that's the number HK gave.
Okay. Well, that's pretty close to what you said before.
I said 38%. Yeah, that's within the margin of error. But of course, turnout doesn't have a margin of error. It just has a point estimate. But anyway.
So it's pretty crazy that the governing party can have 8% in an election. That seems like just hard to believe. But
yeah, I think a lot of people felt very free to not vote for them as a protest vote.
Yeah, people treat this like it doesn't matter at all. They just.
That's why you get troll parties in Germany and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, or the monster even a loony party.
Well, yeah, you get troll parties kind of anyway. But I think in this case, people are more expressing how they feel about remaining or leaving Europe than for the party's policies per se.
That's probably why Labour's vote dropped like 12% because people are mad at Corbyn. Oh, you're for leave, and you should remain, like because you're the second. Well, I think they have the most popular support in the UK, like in terms of like the general election, whenever that's going to be. But right now, because the Tories have just like they're like literally in turmoil, more or less. They're the government, but they're in complete turmoil.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So you're just quit, and they have.
Like, I don't actually know who. I mean, it's kind of hard. Okay, we have a fascist in the United States, so probably that just wins on a technicality. Like, that's a TKO. But I would not trade our government. I mean, in some ways, I guess I would. But the British government right now is a mess. It's like the second worst thing I've seen in terms of just not being able to govern. It's collapsing. It's falling apart.
Ever since David Cameron quit, it's been total anarchy, basically, with them. Like, he had the referendum to like try to heal a rift, and it just made it worse.
Tim, I'm going to correct you because I am an anarchist. So anarchy stands for just no rulers. You are using the colloquial definition of anarchy.
I know. I'm not using the political ideology thing because yes, anarchy is a well-defined political ideology, and there's different, well fleshed out. There's like libertarian, anarchist,
Well, true libertarians are anarchists as they're libertarian socialists, but yeah.
All right, hold that thought, because someone in the chat encouraged me to, refresh, and I did. There's been a bit of a change in the percentages here. So you can see the Brexit Party still on the low 30s, 33%, but now the Liberal Democrats are on 20%. They were on 19 before, so that's pretty close, but Labour have dropped 3 to 13.3%. My computer is being silly. Here we go. Greens are up a little bit to 12.1. Conservatives are on 8.7, so a slight boost for them. UKIP are on 3.6. Change UK on 3.3. Scottish National Party 2.5. Plaid Cymru on 2.2. And I think those are all the parties that we have reports for so far. But in terms of seats now, I see, yes, the Brexit Party has now been awarded 5 seats. Liberal Democrats have 2, coming in second place. Now Labour are still on 1. The Greens have been awarded 1.
-2.
And Conservatives are on 1, but also down 2. And UKIP are down 4 from last time.
Isn't that how many they had? That they had 4, right? So have they lost them all?
No. They had 24.
Okay.
And they left or quit and changed parties, or they were deselected.
They went to
by Batten.
Didn't some of them jump ship to Brexit Party, basically?
Yeah. Oh, quite a lot of them, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so they basically inherited incumbents.
Mhm.
already in the districts.
which is
But-
that's what UKIP used to do, is inherit Tory incumbents and try to like,
Or yeah, a guy who switched.
and then because there was like
Yeah.
2 cancels that they had. Well, the only 2 cancels they ever had, I think they were Tories that just jumped ship. That's what I learned from a certain YouTuber who covers them quite frequently. Well, he used to anyway, but they're kind
So
of
I had a question about that switching over thing you talked about, Christy. About so if there was UKIPers who switched to Brexit Party and then they're now incumbents or they were incumbents, do they count as part of this additional seat counting, or are they already just Brexit members?
Well, it's based off of the number of seats returned at the last election, or the candidates returned, and so they're comparing it to the 24. So they're going to go down a lot. Just even starting, they were down, but they didn't start them down 20 because you can't award them yet.
That's why Brexit +5, because they had nothing before in a lot. Well, because they didn't exist. That's what they're.
So yeah, Brexit will just get all those pluses from the incumbents plus any extras that they're going to win right now.
Right.
Okay.
So when like Labour picked up one but didn't like nobody lost one, that was probably a hold. But all of theirs are going to be new.
Yeah. Even in reality, they're actually defending them. You know, I know this only goes election to election, but you know, they did jump ship and they were been representing them since then. So they are kind of defending 24.
And the incumbency is more the advantage of name recognition of having had someone vote for you in the past, more so than like the party has awarded them to start and they're defending it or something because they didn't exist last time. So yeah, it's kind of weird this time around.
Yeah. I mean, I get that, but it's just like, you know, this is sort of like one way of doing it versus like the actual situation in terms of like the EU Parliament. But
yeah,
I did want to mention one thing though about another Green Party. Like the Greens in Canada actually have been getting traction.
Yeah, go on.
Recently came second in the provincial election.
Oh, sorry, you dropped out for. Sorry, you dropped out for a second. Can you repeat that?
Oh, sorry. Yeah,
we basically heard Greens are picking up traction. And
they're gaining like I say this with like last three or so years. Like the Green Party in BC is actually in a coalition with the Democratic Party as the government over there in British Columbia because they're like really lefty and just like Washington and Oregon. It's something about the West Coast. I don't know. It's just left wing goes better there, but in North America, also in Prince Edward Island where I live, the small little island that we have as a province. There's a provincial election. The Green Party was actually projected to win in some polls, but they got second. So they're the opposition. They surpassed one of the more traditional parties, the Liberal Party, and the Green Party's. I think they're polling like 10%. We have a national election in October, and they will probably increase their seat total by a few. I think at least, perhaps. So there's kind of a shift going on. I guess Green parties in different countries across the world. It seems.
Yeah, it seems to be a place where people are turning. We also have an update now. More seat assignments or allocations. I call it allocations. I don't know what the British call it. But as you can see, the Brexit Party has now been awarded 7 seats. The Liberal Democrats have 5. Labour have 3. The Greens have 2. Conservatives 1. And nobody else had none. That's it. So, sorry. My fruit, the popcorn. Hold on a second.
Too much salt.
I guess
I love it.
The vote's been like about 1/3 counted because it's 132 of 373.
Correct.
Polls, I guess, or counts.
Yeah. That's right. So, and also as you can see, the Brexit Party are up 7. Liberal Democrats are up 5 from last time. Labour are down 4 so far. Green Party are up 1 already. Conservatives are down 4. And UKIP are now down 5 seats. So
yeah, David in the live chat said that he's like he likes the fact that he has like a one. He's rather happy that like, or they're rather happy that they have one Green MP in their area.
I guess I noticed that UKIP's vote share keeps dropping. It was like 3.9. Now it's like 3.
Yeah, because other parties are surging.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That might continue. Actually, I might put it lower than that.
So the polls basically predicted them to get 1 seat, but earlier they were predicted to get 0 seats. So also in the chat, hit 0 if you think UKIP are going to end up with 0 seats. Hit 1. Hit 1 if you think they're going to end up with 1 seat, and then I'll ask you guys, do you think they're going to end up with 0 or 1 seat?
I'm hoping for like Maximin Schadenfreude. I hope that like the Scottish National Party gets more percentages of the votes than UKIP. I know that's probably not going to happen, but I can imagine.
Where's SNP right now?
Scotland now has only 2.5% of the votes, while UKIP has like 3.3.
Doesn't seem like it's going to be likely.
Not really, and especially since the Scottish National Party is only in Scotland, while UKIP is all across the UK.
Yeah, I think there's like 3 million or so total people in Scotland, and that's just like this. I'm not sure what the voting age people are there, but it's probably a million, maybe a million or so. And I don't know how many of them voted because the turnout's like 36%, so it's probably like a 250,000 people maybe voted potentially in Scotland.
I think it's Scotland's a little bit larger. The UK is 66 million, and most of whom live in England. But I think that's like about 59
I think
or
if you break
something.
it down, there's 66 total in the country. There's 55 because someone broke it down yesterday in a stream I was in. 55 English people in England. I thought it was 3 or 4 million in Scotland, like another 3 million in Wales, and then 1.4.
Oh, so 1 million was taking into account the 4 million, and then like 40% of them voting.
Yeah, I was trying to like do like the breakdown because with any polity, there's always like the voting. There's always like the people that can't vote, people under 18, or people that for whatever reason can't vote because they're immigrants or whatever. They don't have their voting rights yet. So and then the vote turn is like 36% of probably national. I guess we don't know what it is in Scotland. It could be higher potentially.
Someone said 5.4 million in the chat.
In Scotland, okay.
So maybe like 2.2 million or like 2 million voters, potentially.
So if a third of those voted, I guess, or so, we're just going at the national average, that would be.
Yep. So we'll see how it goes in with the SNP. I don't think Labour will do very well there. Just refreshing again to see. No more seat changes yet. But we're at 142 of 373.
Does anybody know how many seats they had last election? The SNP?
No. I'm sure it's on Wikipedia if people want to look it up. Because that's where I looked up stuff on this election beforehand.
Well, Wikipedia is a lot better than it used to be. A lot of articles are.
Oh no, it's more accurate than some like Britannica and some other even medical places.
It's just when I was in college, my professors didn't like people using.
No, yeah, you can't cite just Wikipedia. Wikipedia is where you start, and then you look at their sources, and then you go to the sources. But it's a good place to start.
It was like really, this is like 2006. It was like really embryonic back then compared to what it is now.
There's always people who just laugh at you for citing a Wikipedia page, not like citing it, but just like linking them in a chat. Like, oh, here's a Wikipedia page, and like, oh, Wikipedia, that's just fake news, man.
Yep.
Yeah.
I done that when I was trying to argue with someone that there is more than 2 genders, and it's just like I even tried to prove to him it's like you're getting a little you're being a bit bigoted, and here's this Wikipedia. I even screen capped the Wikipedia thing, and yet you expect me to believe that, but it's like it's a Twitter argument though. So yeah,
How is Wikipedia fake news? I'm stunned. I don't understand this.
I call it the Alex Jones defense. Do you believe what the government tells you? Like, that's what they throw at. He throws that at everybody whenever someone tells him he's, full of crap.
Yes, I do sometimes.
Do you guys know what Conservapedia is?
I have not heard of it.
That's like a American like far right Christian fundamentalist wiki, and they say that Jimmy Wales, the founder of Wikipedia, is like, oh, he's a liberal atheist, biased in favor of pro-abortion, open borders, like. So yeah, they think it's basically like a super liberal.
You mean facts?
Yeah, facts have a liberal bias, I guess.
He's kind of interesting. His personal life is kind of interesting because he was. I think at one point he was actually with this far right. She wasn't even American; she was a Canadian, and she's like a shock jock or whatever. I forget her name. I think her last name was Madison, or Martin or something like that. But this is like a long time ago, and she was like stalking him. This is how I know this because it popped up in our news here. That like Wikipedia fan are stalked by his crazy ex-girlfriend. Well, didn't say that, but far right shock jock girlfriend or something like that was the headline basically. And this was like 2008 or something like that, I think.
Okay, an update according to like Emily, the Slayer of MGTOW men, Gerard Batten lost his seat.
Thank you. Thank you so much for that update. That just makes me laugh so hard. I warned him months
And Kevin
ago.
Logan has joined. And Kevin Logan has joined the chat.
Hey, well, tell him to get his ass. Oh, I guess he's in the group, isn't he?
It's your patron group.
Yeah, isn't he?
No, you see a patron? He said so. He said he wasn't. Hold on, I'm going to confirm membership. Hank's in the group. I was like,
yeah.
nope.
Like, did you?
I thought when he came on one time, he became a member of the group.
No, you probably posted it to your Patreon or something like that.
Okay. Well, you can message him the Hangout link, right?
I will.
Okay.
Yeah, I can.
I'll authorize a visit, Kevin, from Kevin, even though we normally don't do call-ins.
For some reason, I was trying to get into this on my phone, but it wouldn't let me. Like, I could call. But
I have had that problem too. Yeah.
So I'm like,
what you have to do is copy the link and then go to Chrome, not Google, and open it in Chrome from your device.
What I did was I went to my laptop and just because I easily, like, all the times we have the Hangout every month, I just go on my computer, right? My phone. I don't know. I was just like, I was somewhere where I was sitting with my phone. I'm like, oh, it's going on with my phone, but I had to get out of where I was and go into my computer so I could come on here.
So the answer to the question is I am using the BBC website right now. Eva. That was the question. So I'm going to update it here. Yeah. Who is playing a game in the background? I can hear the toodle-doodle-oodling.
It's an ice cream truck that's in the neighborhood. I'll mute myself.
Really? It's an ice cream truck?
I was able to start my PlayStation 4 and playing unless we're talking, but no, I didn't turn on.
Well, we're all gamers, I guess.
Well, I have over 1,100 video games, so I guess that makes me a gamer. I just
1,100 games.
Like
Steam.
Oh, Steam. Okay, jeez, man, Steam. We should talk about Steam sometime. Like how people just buy like crazy and don't ever play. Like there's like really low percentage of people that don't ever play any of the games that they buy because they're so cheap. And
it's because you get humble bundles. You get like just these bundles of games that all like cents.
Yeah, it's like this ridiculously high percentage of. Like some 80% of games people buy, they don't ever play them or even like launch them or something like that. I think it'd be like
sorry, Jonathan, is Siriko some sort of like weird anime porn? Someone in the chat wants me to stream it and it sounds dodgy.
Is it hentai? Like,
I don't know. Someone says, Christy, you should stream Sekiro. And that just sounded like
Sekiro's a game, Christy.
Oh well,
it's like this Japanese like samurai game. It's like it came out. It's like really difficult. It's like known for its people like watch people get mad at it. Basically, I think that's why they person wants you to play it. They want to watch you freak out because it's like so difficult. Like it's like I've listened to one of my friends play it, and he just was like losing his mind because it just messes with you a lot. You know,
it's a video game about ninjas. I'm hearing or
samurais,
reading.
I guess in this case.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jonathan, is Kevin going to join us, or is he muted himself?
He's not in here yet. Though. There's only 4 windows.
No, I was asking Jonathan if he'd heard from Kevin.
I did message Kevin on Twitter and on Facebook, so like I haven't heard back from him.
Yeah, he might be too drunk.
I was surprised.
Let me check the live chat.
You know, I thought he'd be here for this because he's like your wingman for this kind of stuff, right?
Well, there's like tomorrow's hangouts.
This isn't an official hangout. This is like just literally me.
Oh,
I wanted to watch it anyway, so I was gonna do this. So
I've been meaning to ask you, like, do you guys ever have like non-YouTubers like in your? Because you usually have guests sometimes, right, on the happy hour.
Yeah, but mostly they're YouTubers because it's kind of a show about YouTube ultimately.
Yeah. I was like, hey, can I come on? And I'm not a YouTuber.
Yeah.
I did ask myself if I could be on, but yet I did do a stream with like Kirsty and Kevin before of reacting to Jordan Peterson's PU videos. So it's like, we
have Jonathan on. Yeah.
Okay, so there's a precedent. Okay, so I wasn't completely out of. thinking that it was impossible to ask you that or something.
But honestly, Kevin Logan, he has stated, "Yeah, I'll just stream with anyone. I don't give a fuck."
That's sort of like his, MO. He streams with like literally anyone, from Stargon down to like non-YouTubers.
Oh,
He's here.
speak of the devil. Hello, Kevin. Great tech as always. Hey. How are you feeling about things so far tonight?
Yeah, things are going pretty well. You just read out the Gerard Batten lost his seat in London.
Oh, I wish you would have been here. I wish I could have heard your laughter for that.
I'm surprised you didn't all the way in Germany because it was fucking loud. Yeah, it was. Yeah, that was nice because London's has got 8 MEP slots, so you really don't need a particularly big amount of votes to actually get one of those. It's like you only. I mean, sometimes it can be as low as like 5.5%, something ridiculous like that. Although this time it would have been needed to be slightly bigger because the turnout was quite big. But
hey, can you do us a
so
favor and do us a view from the ground? Because we can only see the big picture up here. I don't know what's happening locally or where these constituencies are.
Oh, okay, yeah. So, well, London, it's in the south. It's its own region of the country for the parliamentary elections for the Europe. Yeah, and that's got 8 seats, and 3 went to the Liberal Democrats, 2 to Labour, and 1 to the Green Party. 1 to the Green Party and 1 to the Tories. No, sorry, the Tories got wiped out, didn't they? Who else won a seat? Someone else did. Anyway, yeah, the Tories got wiped out in London as well, which is quite fun. In terms of the east of England, UKIP got wiped out as well, which was hilarious. They did have 3 seats, although they'd all defected, so technically they came into the election with no seats, but were still wiped out from nothing, which is amazing. What else? Yeah, Tommy Robinson in the north is technically an independent, but he's already conceded, so he's not getting elected, which is good. Good to see mine and Chrissy's taxpayers' money will not be going to funding his coke habits.
Hurrah! Yes. Can we just get a round of applause for
Yes.
Tommy not getting elected? Thank you, people of Britain. Thank you.
Yes. And again, because that constituency had 7 seats, it wouldn't have taken a huge amount for him to not to get elected. I was actually quite worried. But the fact that he's conceded before the results even out means he got nowhere fucking near, which is good. Yes, well, the Midlands, my own region, the West Midlands, has not fully declared yet, but I know that Birmingham, which is where obviously the city I'm from, and its own count came through, and Labour won that with the Brexit Party in second, and again, UKIP getting fucking wiped out. And if that goes across the whole region, again, a region with 7 seats, UKIP will have lost the 2 MEPs they had previously. Although again, both of them had defected, so they came in with none, which is good. Carl's region. Yes, indeed. Region in the southwest. And Gibraltar, lest we forget, Gibraltar was held by the Lib Dems, which is fun because Carl went there and it made no fucking difference. Brilliant. Other than to scupper his own chances of ever earning a penny from YouTube ever again because he threatened to possibly rape an MP there. Fantastic. Anyway, the southwest region is not declared yet, but I'm hearing on the ground that the UKIP are expected again to be wiped out, and we're seeing swings of between 15 and 35% against UKIP across the country, which is, I mean, they're getting annihilated as we said they would, which is, I mean, my nipples are not going as well.
Yeah, this is devastating. Like, this is much worse than what happened to the Lib Dems after the post coalition, the 2015 election.
Oh yeah, this is
decimation,
literally ceasing to exist type numbers. They're 2 and 3% everywhere, including regions they did really well in before. Even in places where they've always done traditionally very well. Well, I say traditionally, they haven't been around that long, but within the last sort of quarter of a century, let's say, in areas they've done really well.
Yeah, they got like 4 million votes at the last general, right?
They did, yes. And indeed, in the last European elections, they actually came first. They got 27% of the vote and were the highest share of the poll. and they're getting wiped out. Wales has just declared, or no, is nearly about to declare 91%, and have counted now, and UKIP have lost 24% of the vote, down to 2%. That's really, really bad. Because they've got, I mean, UKIP have got members of the Welsh Assembly, which is like, I suppose, for the Americans, sort of like a state government, you know, the state versus federal type situation. We don't have an officially federal system, but that's basically the gist.
Yeah.
And UKIP have seats there. Like, UKIP have a base in Wales, and they've been fucking wiped out. I mean, literally wiped out. Brilliant. Yeah. I mean, look at this. Islington in London, Windsor and Maidenhead, where they've done well before, they're down to 1%. 1%.
Oh my gosh, 1%.
Wow.
Wow.
So
that's
1%. 1%.
Ridiculous. Well, to put it into perspective, in London, they only narrowly beat out, this is genuinely true, they narrowly beat out the Animal Welfare Party. Which I didn't even know existed. I'd literally never heard of it before, and they only just finished above them.
What's next?
In like 6th or 7th place or something.
Did Justice for Men and Boys beat them too, or something, please?
No, I don't think they were standard. This is, I mean, considering the millions of people who live in London, it is J4MB-esque in its deliciousness. Yeah, I mean, just ridiculous. And the wider issue beyond UKIP, the Tories look like they're going to, and the Conservative Party, by the way, the current governing party of the entire nation, look firmly like they're going to finish in 5th place, having never finished any lower than 3rd place in any national poll in the history of the fucking country, which is pretty outstanding.
Yep, what an election. Has Carl a question from Mustard Fueled Vengeance? Has Carl conceded yet?
We're wrong.
Not officially. Oh, sorry. No, I was just going to say not officially, but Christie played a clip earlier where he was on a thing with Undoomed, I think it was, where he said that he had no chance of winning, which is probably the first honest thing I've heard Carl say for fucking years, frankly.
Maybe ever.
Yeah, long time.
Yeah, I put it on Twitter, but we haven't watched it here tonight because I decided to save it for our show.
I find it interesting that he goes on.
Oh, well.
That's okay. No, it's not a surprise. It's just I'm going to save the audio because I can't be bothered to set it up tonight. I'm lazy.
This is just a half-ass kind of like stream. It's just like, I'm just going to watch the election results.
Yeah,
I'll have
basically.
my patients join me, so like I'm not alone just watching the election results.
Yeah. So
I mean, who doesn't want to have me in a hangout?
But you're not even dressed like R2-D2. What's the point, really?
Hey, but I have the hair clip. I look like Frank Zappa. Come on, the tash with the arch, the tash of the chops.
You do. You've taken my mutton chops status.
Yes.
You got rid of yours, and I got mine.
So Kevin, Liberal Democrats
and
oh, go ahead.
nonsense. Oh, sorry. I was just going to say, yeah, there's been sort of semi-riots across Europe with Romanians. It's been really strange. Romanians living abroad across Europe who are still like Romanian nationals have been taking part in so there's some sort of national referendum in Romania. And so they've been allowed to vote in the countries they currently live in. But it's been organised so badly that tens of thousands have been turned away. So there's been like riots in Holland, and there were like huge protests outside of the Romanian embassy in London today because it's been organised so pathetically. But so that's happened as well. Just to throw that into the mix.
What were they voting about?
Oh, they're having Romania having.
What was the referendum about? Sorry, I don't know if you know that or not.
I have no idea. I don't know, and it really doesn't matter in the sense that however these people would have voted, they should have been allowed to vote, but they haven't. So yeah, it's really bad. Wales is currently declaring now.
Over there. Romanians vote an anti-corruption referendum. That's what the headlines say.
Yeah, that's what I got.
Let's see what the Welsh are going to do here.
Labour, it looks like going to be beaten to 3rd place in Wales, which is actually very poor, although the Tories have collapsed as well. That's the theme of the night. The two major parties have been absolutely battered. and UKIP have been annihilated. And the people to gain, obviously, the Brexit Party, which is essentially UKIP rebranded, a sort of UKIP 2.0, as you were. UKIP, oh Jesus, UKIP are in 7th place in Wales with 27,000 votes. Literally just beat out Change UK, who might as well not exist.
Yeah.
They got, Jesus Christ, they got just over half of the vote of the Green Party, which, yeah, that's really embarrassing. Like I say, they've got members of the Welsh Assembly. Yeah, you're not going to get many re-elections with those numbers.
No.
Anyway, so yeah, they're fucked. But yeah, Labour not doing well in Wales, and that's understandable because I couldn't vote for them, and I'm naturally a Labour voter because their European policy has been piss poor. They've been fence sitting, fudging the issue, and just the people aren't tolerating it. The parties that have got like a clear yes, we want to leave or yes, we want to remain are doing well, and those who aren't are getting battered.
I was just going to ask you about the Lib Dems Performance at 5 seats.
Yeah, they've done outstandingly well. It looks very much like they might come second in the national vote for the first time. So, yeah, they'll come second in the national vote overall and beat out both the Labour Party and the Conservative Party for the first time ever in a national election. So it's, I mean, I don't expect this to hold up if it was a general election, but it seems like a game changer overall.
It really speaks to the general chaos in British politics, doesn't it?
Yeah. Oh God, yeah. Yeah, it was already fucked, but now it's super fucked. Yeah. So the Wales, those elected in Wales, there were 4 seats. Brexit got 2 seats, which is basically the same that UKIP did last time. Plaid Cymru, which is the Welsh nationalists, but again, just to point out, nationalism in Scotland and Wales is a left-wing thing, so they're actually to the left of the Labour Party. They got 1 seat, and Labour got 1 seat. So yeah, the Tories lost 1, UKIP lost 1.
I'm waiting for the BBC to update, but they haven't yet.
Yeah, well, that was literally just being announced. Oh, Birmingham, we're being declared. Ooh. Exciting times. And they couldn't have made it look any more boring.
I'm so glad somebody with the BBC joined the Hangout. I was hoping you'd join, Kevin. Thank you.
Oh, you should have sent me some. I didn't even think tonight. Sorry. Yeah. Where are we at? It's a really boring person with a black backdrop reading results out. Very, very boring. I mean, that's literally what's happening right now. The Greens beat out the Tories in the West Midlands. Awesome. And I'm hoping they get at least a seat or 2, because that's who I voted for. So that's what I want to represent me. But it might be tight. I'm not sure yet. Sorry, you talk amongst yourselves while they're still reading out numbers of, because there's loads of
I've got stuff here. So we've got the new updates with the totals on the BBC page, and we can see Brexit Party's now on 9, Liberal Democrats holding at 5, Labour on 4, also down 4, Greens on 2, up 1 over the last time, Conservatives sitting on a sad 1, they are down 5 compared to the last election, Plaid Cymru on 1, and all the other parties on 0, with UKIP down 6 seats so far.
And that
How is that?
Keep going up, probably, for sure.
That number will be going up a lot, into double digits.
Over 20, probably.
Definitely. Either 23 or 24. So.
Which I guess prompts the question, is UKIP done as a party after this?
I don't know how they survive. I mean, they could be like the EDL and BNP, but really?
Yeah, well, I guess the EDL was never a party in the traditional sense. They were just like a bunch of hooligans who went around. Well, they combined rattling and football hooliganism into one, and that was basically like what they did. Yeah,
just to update, the Brexit Party have done ridiculously well in my region. They've got 3 of the 7 seats. Labour got 1, the Lib Dems got 1, the Greens got 1, so I'm pretty chuffed with that. And the Tories managed to just squeak 1. And the big loser on the night, surprise, surprise, UKIP lost, and the Tories lost 1.
Ooh.
So that's not surprising, I suppose.
Kind of pitching a no-hitter here. See if they can pitch a perfect game.
Yeah, basically, they're putting up all zeros. There's a lot of bagels up on that board. Absolutely.
I guess you could say the voters have declared their independence from the United Kingdom Independence Party tonight.
Nice. Very nice.
Well,
All right.
I'm just glad that people of Britain have told them that they wouldn't even vote for them. You know.
Yeah, they did. And they didn't. So with these updated results, I don't know if these include the Birmingham ones. I think they might.
Well, I just because it's my own region, I am going to just revel in this number. UKIP percentage of the vote down 27%.
In your region.
27% in the West
I really
Midlands.
want to compare the regional drop because I'm thinking Carl's would be even worse than the rest of the country.
Yeah, well, I really just want to masturbate over that result. So I might just do that. To be honest. I mean, the camera's not on, but you'll hear grunting. That's all I'll say.
So that's all the background noise then.
Yeah. Well, actually, at the moment, I'm letting Rory get in because he's been
Okay.
indoors.
Well, we can all enjoy this number, which is UKIP's basically last time as being in single digits from this point forward. They're going to cross into loss of double-digit seats over the last election. They're currently down 24.2%. So we can compare that aggregate so far. What was Kevin in your area was down 27%?
27%. 27.
So we
Which is
can
pretty good.
check what the national average is here, actually. But I'd like to see the regional breakdown.
Don't get ahead of yourself. You say they're going to lose double digits. They may win loads of seats from this point on and gain some of those back and never go into double digits. I say from this point on, they sweep the board. They win the next 30 seats and go on to become the biggest party in the history of the world.
You're going to go for the over on that? 0?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think, yeah, the over/under on naught. Well, technically, you couldn't win because they're going to get naught. So neither of those bets would actually win because it wouldn't be over or under naught.
See,
it would be naught.
yeah.
So you need it at 0.5, really, don't you? Anyway.
At least. But yes. So so far, yeah, UKIP are having a terrible night. Yeah, we were talking earlier about the current state of the Tory party, and maybe you could give us some insights into the timeline here, given, as someone pointed out on Twitter, the EU in March was like, hey, we're going to give you till October. Are you sure that you make good use of this time, UK? Like, yeah, definitely. Yeah. And then, I'm sorry, then the UK is like, hey, in May, let's have a June leadership race.
Yeah.
So what does it mean for the timeline and the October deadline while we're waiting for seats to come in?
Yeah, specifically when in March we were told, don't waste this time. You've got till October. Let's do something constructive. And so far they've pissed away 2 months and have now decided to change Prime Minister 2 years after it should have happened. Yeah, and they're now going to have 6 weeks of Tory party leadership election, which I suppose is actually quite appropriate, really, given the fact that this entire fucking shit show was born of the fact that the Tory party were internally divided on the matter of membership of the European Union. So it's only fitting, I suppose, that they're driving us off the edge of a cliff whilst not even trying to apply the brakes at all. They're literally just going, nah, fuck it, let's just do this. So yeah, in terms of the timeline, Theresa May, the current Conservative leader and Prime Minister, will resign one of those posts, namely the lead Conservative Party, on June the 6th, triggering officially the race for her replacement. And then whenever that's decided, which will be in late July, I believe, there'll then be a new Prime Minister who will be ordained rather than actually, voted in via a general election. But yeah, democracy, as I've pointed out before, Brexit not happening is not the death of democracy in Britain. Democracy has yet to really come to Britain, so to speak.
Yeah, there's that.
And then, sorry, before we change subjects, the new Prime Minister will have to appoint a cabinet.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Who will then have to get acquainted with all of the stuff that is going on and also what they want to do in August, September, and October. So they'll have three months to write their thesis.
So it'll be like September before that's all settled, probably, and then.
Yeah, and interestingly, again, because this situation couldn't get any more ridiculous, the current chancellor is like essentially the finance minister. He holds the purse strings for the nation, and is essentially the second most powerful person in the country behind the prime minister. The current one, who knows he's going to get ousted by whoever comes in to replace, the new prime minister is going to get rid of him because he's very unpopular in the Conservative Party, has said that he will table a vote of no confidence against any prime minister who steps in and argues in favour of a no-deal situation. So you have the current Chancellor of the Exchequer saying he will call for and vote against his own party in Parliament if they don't do what he wants.
And most of the candidates are okay with no Brexit, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Well, yeah, they're all going to campaign on that front. So
They all
I mean,
campaign
it's
for it,
just
right.
this is normal. This is just normal. Just complete fucking collapse of civic institution.
I was trying to compare who was worse, like Trump in the White House or what you guys are going through in terms of a collapse of democracy.
Trump.
He's a fascist.
Fucks are
He's a
doing it by accident, by and large. Trump is actively trying to demolish democracy, whereas these idiots are just sort of watching it fall around them and not doing anything to stop it. But at least they're not actively trying to hurry the process along, which is good.
It's like it's intention versus unintentional. They are unintentionally destroying British government or governance norms, and Trump and his clowns are basically doing it intentionally. This is their plan all along.
Oh, they're declaring Yorkshire and Humber, which is quite a nice region in the north of England, which includes cities like Leeds and Barnsley.
I love the constituency names you guys have. They're just so beautiful.
Yeah. The Humber is a river, by the way. It's just so it's, you know. Oh, God. There's one called the Yorkshire Party. Of course there is. Why wouldn't there be? And UKIP beat them by 6,000 votes. Amazing. That's really embarrassing. So, again, the Brexit Party doing well. Labour came second, though, at least. So that's something. I don't know. I can't remember. I think this is 6 or 7 seats. I can't remember. But Brexit are going to do really well, which is annoying. Which is one of the saving graces if we do leave the European Union is that these motherfuckers being elected tonight, these Brexit pricks will be out of office. So
yeah, right away.
Oh, Majid got in. Awesome. Sorry. I'll explain who that is in a second, but it's fun. Brexit got 3 seats, Labour 1, Lib Dems 1, and the Greens 1. And the Greens one is a guy called Majid, who's an amazing chap. He was voted in. He's a sort of weird, sort of moderate Muslim who does rap music or something, and he was voted in as the mayor of some town near Sheffield. And he's like this incredible guy. Look, you check him out on social media and stuff. He's really sharp and witty guy. And I didn't even know he was standing for the Greens in Yorkshire and Humber, and has now been elected to be a member of the European Parliament, which is fun.
Oh, hey.
So go and check. Yeah. And he's got 2 names that are the same. It's Majid. Amazing.
I've seen it before. There's some guy in Afghanistan. I think he's still high up. His name is Abdul. It's like Abdullah. Like that's his name. So it's sort of the same thing.
That happens.
Yeah.
There are some that have there's a Bangladeshi cricketer called Mamadullah. He just has one name. Amazing.
We've got the updated aggregates here if you guys want to have a look. I'll just do a quick refresh, although I've just done it. And we were still looking at 207 of the 373 counts to be completed. Brexit Party on 15 now at 31.8%. Liberal Democrats at 7 seats at 20.4%. Labour are on 6, down 6 compared to 2014 and are on 13.9%. The Greens have 4 seats up 3 from 2014, sitting on 12.2%. Conservatives down 7 compared to 2014, sitting at 2 MP seats and 9.1% of the vote. Plaid Cymru on 1, Change UK on 0, UKIP on 0, down 12 on the last election result. So back to you, Kevin.
They can still pull this back. They can pull this back. I believe in you, UKIP. In a nice piece of symmetry, Yorkshire and Humber were down. The UKIP were down 27% again, so which is nice. Nice piece of
that's becoming consistent. Yes.
Yeah.
27.
Yeah, I don't think the 20+% thing is a blip. I don't. And also, Carl, do you want to tell us how the polling data was complete shit now? Do you want to tell us that? Considering they said you were going to be. Just
Not the second coming of Trump.
But he's busy. He's busy about to get elected. I'm sure. He's about to be elected. It's definitely going to happen.
Yeah, well, I imagine if you get to 12 plus 7 from UKIP and the Conservatives, that's already like 19% of all of the Brexit. I'm sure that's, and then a bit of Labour on top of that, and you can see where the Leave people are just concentrating their frustration in a credible alternative to Carl and Batten. So yeah,
Victory celebration
Batten's
live
getting
stream
famous.
from Applebee's.
right.
Do they have Applebee's in the UK?
Do they?
No, do they have?
Yeah.
Oh, in London.
No, I've seen Applebee's. Yeah, I've seen it. There's a couple of Applebee's I've seen before.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Cool.
There is an
Yeah.
Applebee's in Bergen. No, I'm sorry, I lie. It's a TGI Fridays,
Mm.
and I went there for a Bloody Mary, and it was really good because it
TGI
was
Fridays.
Okay.
yeah.
TGI Fridays are like fucking moles. They just appear.
So Kevin,
Oh.
do we have percentages from the various constituencies? Like, do we know how close Carl's is?
Just a quick
In
question.
terms of the overall vote, I can have a look. Well, I mean, you're looking already, aren't you, on the BBC
I'm
website?
only looking
I'll
at the
have a look and see
aggregate.
if-
Yeah, but I can't find that. Page.
Okay, well, I shall get back to you because they
Okay.
have been. It's for each large region, which is like the seat for which people are being directly elected here. There are individual counts within those regions, so they break it down to a much more local level to count because that makes more sense, right? And so those votes have been being released as they go along before the main overall result of the
right.
region.
Okay.
Which is why I knew that like Birmingham had got mostly Labour before I knew the West Midlands
So we
regional
could
result.
check for
But I
Swindon.
don't know if the BBC is putting those up in real time.
Yeah, that's fine. Tim, you going to say something?
Here.
Oh, that TGA Friday is that the Bergen in Norway or is that in Germany?
Yeah, the Bergen in Norway.
Yeah, because I still live there, so I went there quite a lot. To that
Yeah. Oh, right. We went to the same TGI Fridays. That's so
yeah,
cool. I sat at the bar and had a Bloody Mary and some
it's
wings.
like right in the center of the city, right? Like right next
Yeah,
to
right. By nice park.
Radisson. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or the park. Yeah. The Bluestone, like giant stone they have
Something
there.
like that.
Yeah, interestingly, both the leader of the Labour Party and the leader of the Conservative Party both lost in their own seats. Neither of them were able to carry their own seats. Yeah.
So Batten, the Labour,
embarrassing.
and the Conservative. So all the three parties that are just crashing out. They're crashing out everywhere.
Yeah, they all. Yeah.
When you say the leader, is that
Basically.
like their European Parliament leader?
No, they're Westminster. So Theresa May, the current Prime Minister, her seat is which is it again? Windsor and Maidenhead, I think, or something.
I thought you meant the candidates
she
had
lost-
lost their seats.
Oh no! Right.
My
okay,
bad.
I should explain more. No, that's fine. That's fine. I need to be more precise. Theresa May's constituency is Windsor and Maidenhead, and the Conservative Party didn't win there in her own constituency. And Labour Party is Islington, where the Labour Party, Jeremy Corbyn, sorry's seat is Islington, and that they were narrowly pipped out by the Lib Dems in Islington. So both of the major parties getting the kicking, which is not surprising in the slightest.
So
Yeah.
a question from like a Mustard Few Vengeance again. So will Carl leave UKIP now, or will they kick him out?
Well, Mike
I don't
Hookham, the
know.
deputy who stood down, said that he wanted to take the party back, which presumably would include kicking out garbage like Carl. Although, to be honest, I think they're whole below the waterline now.
Yeah.
I don't think, with the Brexit Party's ascendancy, I don't see there's any point in their existence.
I mean, if
Which
they
is-
get no seats, what
Yeah.
are they?
Yeah.
Especially if
well,
they
let's
end up
talk about,
doing a hard Brexit.
Yeah. No, exactly. Yeah.
This is sort of history repeating itself because Brexit is doing to them what BNP or what they did to the BNP party about 10 years ago or so, or 2009 is when the BNP started going down, lost all the European seats basically. So this is history repeating itself again. Far right party replacing far right party again.
Mm-hmm. All part of Carl's
To a
plan
degree.
to replace UKIP with the Liberalists. Ha! As,
Yeah.
Carl Van Dupont said in
Zombie
the chat.
party.
8DX Tom has a question. Is Scotland still tallying the votes, or is Dankula no longer a count?
Well, Dankula is not only going to not elected, he was earlier streaming, so he's not even at the count. Which tells you how seriously he was taking that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Dankula's as much of a count as Count Chocula is. So, anyways,
Pretty much.
List of candidates.
Yeah. So what are you looking at now, Kevin? On the BBC website, the list.
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to say that out loud. I'm looking for the Southwest region updated thingy. Yeah, talk amongst yourselves. Apologies.
Okay.
Okay. Any other things from the chat?
Any other questions?
Do people have questions about anything? There'll be a lag now, but
okay. Does this make UKIP part of the 27 Club?
oh, maybe.
what's the 27 Club? Sorry, forget
people who die at 27, like Kurt Cobain and Amy
yeah.
Okay, it's like John Morrison or.
Yeah. Like Jimi Hendrix, like Amy Winehouse, like there was other famous people that like died at a very young age.
Janis Joplin?
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah. So yeah, 27 Club. Let me look it up.
I guess this election also does one other thing. It kind of helps restore the Lib Dems' credibility and reputation after it went downhill really bad.
No, that's true. They've really bounced back a lot.
Yeah, it's going to help them with their image, perhaps.
Yeah, they kind of had no credibility because they didn't stand for something, but now they can stand for something, and people go, "Yeah, at least you're saying it. I guess I'll vote for you."
Yeah, they're pretty firm Remain, so I think it's like people that's why they're getting like stuck in place because they.
We've got the Southwest is being declared, my boys.
Dun 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 dun.
Drum roll.
And we have to this is the thing, because it's done in alphabetical order, the UKIP come last, so we have to wait to the very last thing for them to be announced. The Greens have done pretty well, 302,000, that's pretty good. That's more than double the Tories.
Do they announce alphabetical?
That reminds me of a story about this UKIP voter was complaining that why is UKIP at the bottom of the ballot, and he didn't realize that it's in alphabetical order because he's so stupid. That really happened.
There's Carl. Carl's right there.
He's on there to
he's
lose.
On the fucking TV, and he's got grey weird jeans on. Oh, he looks really stupid.
Are his pockets full?
UKIP got blown the. He's got a bulging pocket. Yes, he has actually got a bulging pocket.
Yeah, his bag of coke's in there.
Blown the fuck out.
And take a line off.
Blown the fuck out. 53,000 votes, which is slightly more than Change UK, but not a lot. I mean, that's nothing. Yeah, they're getting no seats.
Yay!
No, they're getting 0. That's good. That's good. Well done, Carl. Awesome. I don't know what the swing is going to be in terms of percentage, but it must be huge because, to put it in perspective, UKIP got 53,000 votes. The Brexit Party got 611,000 votes.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah. Which is pretty bad. And Widdicombe, the first elected, the 70-year-old.
Yes.
The 74-year-old virgin woman, crazy religious extremist, who's got elected, surprisingly. The Lib Dem, Brexit. Green got in, good stuff.
All right.
Another Brexit, for fuck's sake. Another Lib Dem. And I think is there one more? No, that's it, isn't it? Yeah. So 3 Brexit, 2 Lib Dem, 1 Green, and UKIP literally nowhere. He's got a fucking tablet in his pocket. He's got a tablet in his pocket on TV.
Carl, what are you doing?
Mental case. Carry a bag or something. What is just fucking?
I do carry my tablet, but it's in my jacket pocket. It's in like a windbreaker pocket. So
that makes more sense.
And he's wearing an ill-fitting suit, so he's definitely got pockets on that motorbike.
Again,
he looks weird, right? I'll describe him for you. He's got the same black jacket on that presumably has gone to the dry cleaners about a dozen times in the last fortnight. And he's wearing grey jeans and those shitty fucking, I don't even know what to describe them as, kind of hill climbing boots or something. He looks really peculiar. So UKIP 3%, 3% to the vote.
That's
They
what the poll
absolutely pissed it here last time. Oh, it's genius! 29% down.
said. Which is more than 27.
Yeah, that's fucking hell. That's like 1 in 3 votes.
That's the Sargonic effect, right? Makes everything.
Oh, that's genius. Oh, that's so good. Oh.
I need to watch that documentary. I haven't watched.
Yeah, quite. Uncork the bottle.
Yeah.
Oh, that's lovely.
I get some champagne actually in my cupboard over there. I could whip it out.
29% down.
So wait, he was wearing a mix of black, gray, and brown?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh,
It was
you really have to watch Queer Eye.
to say coordinated would be well, just accurate. He looked awful. And like I say, yeah, I thought I couldn't see what was bulging until it sort of zoomed in to go and look towards Anne Widdecombe on the other side, and it's clearly, well, either he's got like some big chunky phone, which is possible, but it looked more like a tablet thing device in his front pocket.
Wouldn't surprise
Which again is just weird, Carl. I couldn't see 2 lighters. I couldn't see any number of lighters, I have to say. So he might have done differently there. Oh, blown the fuck out in the East Midlands as well. Getting just just over a third as many as the Green Party got.
Oh god.
Again, absolute annihilation.
The reverse Midas touch. This is what it looks
Brexit
like.
Party. Yeah, the Brexit Party did well there, with Annunziata Rees-Mogg undoubtedly being elected, I think.
Oh, her.
Yeah.
Old
Which
Nancy.
is interesting. Yeah. Three Brexit, 1 Lib Dem, 1 Labour from the Midlands.
Yeah, so we've got the totals here from the BBC. I'll just refresh it one more time. We're at, 229 of 373. Brexit Party are on 21 seats, up 21. Liberal Democrats are on 10, up 10. Labour is on 7, but down 7. Green are on 5, up 3 from last time. Conservatives are on 2, down 11. Plaid Cymru holding 1 seat. No seats for Change UK. UKIP down 16. Overall vote share down 24.2%.
Oh,
beginning to
that's
think-
the Scottish National Party is almost close to overtaking UKIP. They're only 0.1% behind.
Yep.
I'm just going to say, I'm beginning to think now that now they've lost 16 seats, I literally don't think there are enough seats left that even if they won every single one, they get to 0. So I think my prediction might have been wrong.
It looks like Zero might have won the night.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I
Exactly.
did actually I tallied from our live chat that there were, out of 18 votes of the people that voted, 15 for 0, 2 for 1, and 1 for -1.
Yeah, they should get -1.
Well,
Just
They
for
should. I
embarrassment.
don't know how that would work.
well, they're
I don't know how that would
getting like
work.
minus
exactly.
24, aren't they? Probably. So.
That is pretty good. They've lost a quarter of the entire electorate in 5 years. That's embarrassing. Jesus. Look at that. And the Scottish Nationals only run in Scotland.
Mm-hmm.
And they're right there with UKIP. They only run in Scotland. Oh, for fuck's sake. That's so bad. There are only 5 fucking million people in Scotland. What the fuck?
Yep.
Would be brilliant. If they overtook UKIP, that would be amazing.
Well, I would
That would be
imagine
amazing.
did it take longer for some of the outlying areas of Scotland to come in? I don't know what's the return right now.
Yeah, because Scotland is mostly deserted mountain.
Yeah, the Highlands. They're only like 8,000 votes behind them, I think, something like that.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It's
So
possible.
what's left to come in yet?
How many?
Scotland has yet to come in. The Northwest is yet to come in. Although, like I say, Tommy has conceded, so that's all that really matters in that region, as far as I was concerned. Who else? Northern Ireland, although essentially Northern Ireland is a sectarian head count rather than a democracy, so that doesn't really matter. Where else? I'm trying to think now.
Where else are you running?
Well, technically they're running in Scotland, although I don't know that the lack of activity from Dankula could count as running technically.
Not
They've
good at the
always
count.
been pretty weak up there, though, from what I understand. But
Well, they have, but I pointed this out to Dankula. They got 10% of the vote last time, and they got one MEP elected. This time round, they're running it. I saw one poll that had them at 1.2%,
and
which is just
That's great.
That's the only one they ever elected out there, is right? Isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's the only MEP that ever had elected from Scotland. So yeah, it's not traditionally strong UKIP fare, including of course the time that Nigel Farage went up there as UKIP leader and got chased and had to hide in a pub. Literally, he got surrounded and he was held hostage by the mob, by the baying mob.
Were they holding drinks from McDonald's?
There was this kind of
no. This was pre-milkshake, and I think that's
Burger King.
I think that's the history has pre and post milkshake era.
Besides, this Burger King that was advertising the milkshakes as well.
There's kind of a running joke that every time someone in UKIP does something stupid, they get fired and then rehired in Scotland. It happened like to Christopher Monkton when he called Obama
what?
Muslim on Alex Jones's show.
Yeah. You were talking about Christopher Monkton. I told you about this, Christo. He claimed to have won the Nobel Peace Prize the year Obama won it.
What? The guys.
He's mental. He goes around America now, like doing like conspiracy theory talks, and I guess he
got hired in Scotland.
I'll be honest. I know it shouldn't matter, but he looked a little bit like the Marty Feldman character from Young Frankenstein.
He's really bulging eyes. I remember when Cameron, but he was back then. He's called Libertarian Social Ransom, but he was basically a cameo band, I think, back then, and he made a video about UKIP, right, that he had to take down because he got so much. He got attacked by their fans, but he really made fun of Monkton in that video, and I wish that video was still around because he just eviscerates him so well in that video. But
I love Libertarian Socialist Rants. I'm glad that he is continued to making videos, and I think the current project he is doing is doing a reading of Das Kapital, but with assistance for other Marxists that have assistance readings for Das Kapital. So I'm quite interested in that.
Yeah, he's.
And I'll just do a quick screen share to show you what I meant. Hang on 1 second.
All luck on you.
There we go. That's Christopher Monkton.
Oh, yeah. I thought you were going to do some political sharing.
No, to show you he looks like Marty Feldman.
No, he does. He does.
Yeah.
He also once claimed to be
crazy bastard who was UKIP's environment spokesman when he literally said that climate change was an entire hoax invented by the government, and went on Alex Jones's show to tell him. So
he also once claimed to be a Margaret Thatcher scientific advisor, even though she never mentioned him once in her book, or there's no record of that happening.
Yeah, he didn't work for her at all. No.
Yeah.
Also, I love Christy. I love Christy's optimism that she thought I was going to share something serious. Then, bless her.
Hope is the last thing to die, Kevin.
He also claimed to be a lord too. He called him Lord Christopher Monkton, but he used it for
yeah, he's not a lord in the slightest. No, and he's a mental case. Yeah. Anyway, but that's that. Yeah, there's not much actually, to be honest, left.
No, I was just thinking. Other than waiting for the final returns.
There are 40 odd. So you've got 21, 10, 7. So what's that? The 30 odd. Yeah, there really aren't many seats left to declare them.
Yeah, how close?
There are 3 from Northern Ireland.
Yeah.
7 from Northwest. So there's 10 left or something.
So we're really just waiting to see the Northwest, but we don't know what time they'll come in.
I got a question from the live chat that's been part of the discussion in the live chat about the OFW, the overseas Filipino workers. Christy, Kevin, do you have any opinions on that?
No idea what that is. Sorry.
Okay. Just want to mention it, but also ATX kind of mentioned how that politician has the same eye condition, Graves' disease, as Marty Feldman. So it's we don't need to dunk on him for his appearance. Dunk on him for his merits, yes, but not on his appearance. We shouldn't shame.
No, that's right. So I just wanted to pull a picture. Well, no, I'm not saying his appearance is not the issue. His science denial and rank conspiracy bullshit is.
Yeah.
In the side chat, someone actually you did, yeah, posted. What does Kev think of Dominic Raab? He's
So,
fucking
HK
garbage.
Sash,
He's
He's
garbage.
garbage?
He's the right wing candidate's. He's the right wing Tory party's version of a moderate, which he isn't.
Mhm.
But I mean, he's sort of like a dark horse for it. Like he could win it, but I don't think he will.
Well, with that, I think we can all take a victory lap. Really.
Well, to be fair, we've been doing that for a month now, Krista.
True.
You know what I mean? We started early. We've been doing a victory marathon.
Well, I'm glad you were here for the end. I posted it. I thought you were a member of the group and would know, but I'm glad you saw it. I'm glad you joined us. I'm glad you brought the local perspective and also the description. It was kind of like match of the day when you were describing the result at the election thing. But that was really great. So before we go, does anyone want to do any plugs? One plug, not one thing, not 12. Jonathan, you want to go ahead?
I do have a plug. I'll go first. So just if I'm limited to one plug, please donate money to our friend Joanna. Donate via PayPal at severejoe@gmail.com. I'll post the link to the baking bowl again into the live chat as we're doing this, but share around that baking bowl as well, because I mentioned this on the Steve Chai Patreon Hangout. She only gets like $1,500 a month from SSDI, Supplemental Security Disabled Income, and that doesn't cover all the bills that she has to pay for, and she's raising her kid. This month was a terrible month for her because of crap that happens of her ex not putting her daughter on the thing, and so then she was got less than $600. She was short $600 of her stipend this month. So I was I have donated to her, and I'll continue to donate to her, as I donated $18,000 over the course of 2 years since I have known her. But any dollar or any help, it can really help Joanna, and share around the baking bowl, and that is my only pitch. So thank you.
Thank you. Tim, do you want to go?
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at italkyteacher. Just that. I was able to get the name before anybody stole it. And shout out to the Toronto Raptors for making the NBA Finals. First time.
I just want to say fuck the Toronto Raptors for making the NBA.
I know you like.
Well,
they're but it's all right though. They made it to the farther. That was their goal anyway. So.
All right. So, and you, Kevin?
I just want to plug. Go Golden State Warriors.
And I'll plug the analysis show where we'll go over the last days of Carl's failed campaign. We will talk about the results tonight, and we'll look at his pre-election results, but post-campaigning interview that he gave to Undoomed. I've highlighted some clips I found rather interesting.
Scottish National Party overtook UKIP.
Yeah!
Yeah! Yay!
I knew my
there's the money shot.
Not let me down. They make you proud to have a Scottish last name. Good on you.
I'm Scottish too. Scott's my last name. Okay. Seriously.
There we have it. So Conservatives down 11 seats, Scottish National Party on 3.6, Change UK on 3.5.
Change UK. Oh my god.
UKIP down to 3.3. The little party that could.
Yeah. I just want to say, Carl, are you sick of winning yet?
So we will have all of this and probably a little bit more to talk about tomorrow night on this channel at 9 o'clock.
Don't watch that. That's going to be rubbish. Don't watch that.
I'm not in it, so of course you shouldn't watch it. But you can watch it still if you want to.
Some random geek, you're always in our hearts. You're always there with us.
The town crier of the left.
Back on. I think that would be interesting.
You're like the honorary third Beatle. If that makes any sense.
Also, thanks to Mariana for the German analysis and to Jared. Right? Am I saying that right? For his analysis of or reporting of what was happening in France. So until next time, guys, thanks to you in the chat for watching. Thanks to people in the future. I've been Christy, You guys have all been awesome. Goodbye from me. Goodbye from some random geek. Say goodbye.
Goodbye.
From Tim.
Bye, everybody.
And say goodbye, Kev.
Goodbye, Kev.
Hey, you did the bit. And it's
Yeah.
not even a happy hour.
I am I encompass the bit.
You have to do the bit. It's not a hangout without the bit. So.
All right.
Yeah, it's not
Don't
hang on
stare
top
too
of
long
it.
into the bit, or the bit will stare also into you.
All right. And on that bombshell, goodbye.